Ready to begin? Excellent. Well, first and foremost, and most heartfelt, I want to thank you all for sharing this lovely, lovely hobby of ours, and thank you for your time, your efforts, and most importantly, sharing your imagination. Today is our game night. This is officially, for the record, in the shadow of the White City. This is episode 4 of season 3, and the title is So I Wanted to Change the World. When we last left our we returned to the lovely climes of Milwaukee in an effort to mission. Listen, all very much diplomatic assassination for the city village of Dolton. In the doing of such, they have lost multiple members along the way. They have witnessed multiple deaths of actuality and deaths of the soul. They have experienced loss, and most recently had experienced a success in managing to capture, hold, and swallow so we pick up as the sax, song, and flourishes of experienced skill and slowly winding down and backing factor burns, gas, and pointedly obnoxiously loud fixations of stone to sight and stare around as almost angelic strain and Zach's heavenly almost full and see the sense of glass of very great excitement. She manages to overlord her faith almost instantaneously from the rapture and stare of appreciation, not bothering to look left or right at her to the other gathered guests. She rises as if she had already standing across the distance, turning vision back, ignoring Frost for standing at attention, trying to back to the sea. There's something in the gaze that doesn't see as a thing, which is weird as he has always thus far face one of the dangers that were apparent visibly. There's a silent verbal communication. This is danger. Then we see she goes from Zach to Dean. They slow on in the album, and then she turns to gather glass. Once a performance, I instructed you while we were in my show. I want to thank you all. Be so kind as allow me to prepare the set. I will have you all back here. Please make the most of the songs. that clearly outdone yourselves, and I want to make this moment special. There's no way anyone gathered
Zack has a very broad smile on his face. He says he as he looks over to Lucine and says, "Well, I'm glad the two of us could be of service. This right here, the smiles, the joy spreading around. This is what I do this for. Just the shared joy. After all, music is meant to bring us together, is it not?"
That is one of its many uses. I understand that you all are on a truncated timetable, however, so I do understand if you are unable to. It would most assuredly let quite a few hearts down into the dust, but I'm sure that certain things take precedence.
Dia is watching them closely, and I know what she's up to. So the face stays placid and quiet, but there's definitely a brow arch and a slight looking down the nose at, because she's trying to play the player and it's not happening. Dia smiles. "If you want a second song, just say so. Stop beating around the bush. But there is something I would like before I agree to do a second song or selection."
Oh, refreshments, of course, those can be arranged. If you'll give me a moment, I will return.
My car.
Yes, trifling with and unfortunately, I'm sure that you're aware we don't necessarily business accomplishing such tasks. But as for refreshments, I may need to put preference to what's most. I'm sure that some diet
actually quite salted for the evening. I guess before I came.
And you, Mr. Volkin.
I am finding myself quite satisfied, but I do appreciate the courteous offer nonetheless.
But of course, I completely understand, and I'm glad that you all have taken to your needs and didn't engage in any bit of poaching or otherwise impugning some other notable kindred's domain. Allow me to fetch the guests, and I will return as quickly as I can. You all go ahead and begin strumming and preparing for your next set. I'll have the others. She looks towards the doorway. Most of the gathered and witness the first song are still hovering. They're talking amongst themselves. A few are attempting to incredulously strain to catch any wayward overly loud spoken bit of this or that.
Now, are they trying to listen to me and Zach, or are they trying to listen to what Lucia might say to Dia?
It's a good question. Their intentions are unfortunately unknowable in this particular situation because people are always figuratively and in this case literally ear hustling, working towards picking up whatever they can. Their aim for using whatever they pick up is anyone's guess, but knowledge is, they say, is power.
Dia looks at Zach and focuses on picking a song that they both know well enough to make it a fitting encore to the song they just sang. But also in a way tries to convey through song discussion that they are in a bit of tense danger, or like, there is something a little off, because Lucia is seeming very intent to waylay them and keep them there for some reason, and it's not sitting well with Dia. So Dia looking at Zach. What about Ain't No Mountain High?
And Zach does know this one as well. This was one. He informs Dia that he knows this song as well, and has played it before, but not for his videos, but rather up on stage at his bar.
I don't know. It seems a bit staid and normal, and definitely not Hallelujah. It's been overdone entirely. Well, I still love that song, mind.
Okay, so they're trying to pick a song that conveys a sense of danger, but in a subtle way. Is that? Am I correct?
Dia's trying to convey to Zach that there is a sense of danger in the situation they are in, and using the song names as code. So that so that the person listening in, or the people listening in, are like, they're not talking about anything interesting. Because all that we're talking about pretty much are song titles and why they may or may not work for this situation. Which is why the first one they started with was Ain't No Mountain High, because people will chase Ain't No Mountain High enough to keep me from getting to you. That kind of
thing. Well, I'm actually looking up songs right now.
Okay. Is that the only thing that Dia and Zach are acting?
Meanwhile, they're talking about this. Gia's gonna keep her eyes on Rogue to see. I know Robert, not Robert, Frost looked it over before he was looking for the ways in and out. And she's looking at him to kind of see, has he picked a way through the crowd yet, or kind of in case they do need to escape. She's trying to get his attention. She's get him to come over so she can ask, about escape.
That being some kind of manipulation and persuasion.
Okay, what? What was that?
Dia's attempting to, without drawing anyone's attention to the fact, get Frost to exit his post, watching the crowd and trying to establish a perimeter to protect you without alerting something out of the norm or some suspicion.
No.
He is all but action. He is focused very, very tight far as far as he wants to throw enough hot metal that was supposed to come through. If there's something required, something about that out. It may very well go out for that. Part of it's actually leaning towards creating a scene. It doesn't like the very fact that you're focused.
Okay, I got something. Zach back in a whisper, suggests danger zone by Kenny Loggins, but at the same time mentions that seems to have some doubts. He mentions that might not be particularly subtle.
Oh, I like that song. It was from Archer, right? Frost chimes in.
Yep. Zach gives a confirming nod, indicating he's seen the show.
That is such a cool cartoon. I haven't seen much past season 1. Been busy with work. And work is surprisingly really good. And he looks back towards the crowd. But yeah, go with that one. That would definitely take the starch out of these guys.
Zach looks to Dia, and basically with a look that indicates he's up for more suggestions if that doesn't work, because he's just taking a shot in the dark here.
I wish I had the vocal range for It's All Coming Back to Me Now. You know that Celine Dion one with the breaking of glass?
Zach gives a slow nod.
Frost frowns and calls again from his position as shutting up and keeping a perimeter. These people aren't dressed for that. There's a lot of people wearing jeans and t-shirts. That definitely is not what they're going to go for.
Stevie Wonder. Ribbon in the Sky.
That seems real urban. These guys are probably like that. They're not. They don't seem as stuffy as that club we went to last night. Or was that the night before? It all blends together.
Zach gives a slightly faster nod now, indicating he'd be down for that one.
This one's hard because it just felt like that first song came to me.
Would you both be so kind as to roll wits and either insight or etiquette, please?
Okay, we're both rolling this?
Whichever. Yes, whichever is higher. Alright, starting with Dia. As Frost has a multiplicity of instances in the last, a bit of obliviousness on his part mentioned how everyone is dressed. And the very real factor as to how they seem. There are several things that pop into Dia's head, namely that while the crowd is dressed to impress, it is clear that the clothing and attire isn't as tailored as it should be. And while the crowd is wearing significantly elevated financially clothes and tailored labels and the like, and they're wearing name brand this and name brand that, there's a definitive black extra elevated simplicity that is stereotypical most of what they is. Even on their first day, they're dressed in not just name brand, but of the clan dressed to impress in a situation, especially if those other kindred are members of. Yeah, they're all fine. They're all wearing off the rack model stuff, or off the rack name brand. They're all dressed really well. Have seen glance at they are in fact members of the clan patrols. Exactly. Batting the ball and so is set with black. There's a very cool fact that are wearing already have a certain stuff entertainment, and this crowd on barring a very much fit in, and that is a little bit worrisome considering that you're trying to or specifically not elbow to elbow with a gaggle of fellow this you see that the refreshments has been going the entire session.
Yeah, something tells me Lucine might not actually be getting refreshments. Don't know why, but that's just something's telling me.
Something's telling me she also is trying to set me up. So I'm going to leave her gift in the middle of the stage, and we are getting out of here.
Oh boy, that's gonna tick some people off.
Their poses are not real to it.
Okay, so I take it Dia's trying to get everyone the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, there is no second show. It doesn't matter. What is that show? Whose line is it anyway? Points are made up. Who wins doesn't matter. Let's go.
Love whose line, and well, I guess it's time to go now. Zach's pretty much been following Dia's lead this entire time. And is continuing to trust her even though they're little more than strangers.
They close on Frost, and she leans into Frost and whispers, I need you to make me a hole. This is a setup. She's up to something. I don't trust her.
He nods his head, rolls his shoulder. All right, wait. We are leaving. We are making our way out of here. Move now. And he begins moving forward with every intention. Anyone and everyone who stands in. There are far more subtle ways to accomplish his goal. However, there's a certain charm, a certain simplicity about the most direct path. And that path as they move. So you all make a beeline toward the door of the building.
Yeah, we're back the way we came. We're getting the heck out of here.
And again, Zach's pretty much just following along because the more things run their course, the more of a bad feeling he's getting about just what Lucine is up to.
Oh, it's very easy. Wasn't one of Decker's rules no more than 5 gathering at one time? And with several warnings having been given physically by the removal of arms and legs of previous coterie members to the less than subtle get to the point, you guys got a grace from Apollo to this moment. There are several things that add up most dangerously, like a house of cards made of razor blades right over your head. As you all make it outside towards your car, is there anything else that you all would be doing?
Definitely making sure that the newbie aren't just mystically in the dark somewhere ready to pounce because somebody ratted on us. And just because they haven't given up hope yet, they're gonna scan where they didn't look before for their car, just out of a please last chance. I'll forget it after this, but I need to know sort of situation.
Okay. Increase the chance to roll wits plus awareness difficulty 4.
Wits plus awareness. Alrighty. Oh boy, this doesn't look too promising. Oh boy.
All right. With the slew of cars and people that are gathered around the building, it would be almost impossible to not realize that there was a party of some sort taking place there. And while the music isn't raucous enough, the speakers are lining the outside of the building, creating the ambiance of a party environment, very subtly enough not to disturb any neighbors within shot. There's very much at the very sensation that you all just exited the main stage during the concert event. There's that after set jitters, the adrenaline, while you don't feel it as you would if you were still living and breathing, the mental habit of it causes those feelings to erupt and pour out of you while you're not sweating, you're not soaked, you're not feeling as drained and wrung out as you have during several other performances during your living days. It very much is still that feeling, that coming down, that loss of electricity, of everyone's attention, energy being focused on you all. And while that is happening mentally, and you all are scanning the area as you all make your way to the car, hops into the driver's seat, and Akawa is sitting behind him, a firearm resting against the headrest. If you all do not enter, and if he attempts to draw his weapon, I will play the get in.
And Zach is already climbing to the seat directly behind the driver's seat, because, yeah, he's definitely smelling a trap and he wants to get out of there. Even though he normally loves parties and performing.
Dia's jaw is tight and there's anger there. There is definite severe anger. Oh, it's on. If she survives between them two, because why would you do that? That's dirty. Pretends not. Not to be rattled on all that.
There is definitely a battle of will and strong. Things will be very much tense. Firearm over five left. Which will be
very carefully so as not to set him off. Places her hands on Frost's forearm and gives it a very soft squeeze, and Morris told her kind of a calm down.
fine. Dia and Zach.
So, did you not like my singing? Or were we given up and betrayed by a certain someone?
We'll talk once the car comes to a stop.
Sickening, skinny, summer. Zach, we did really good this evening. I enjoyed singing with you. Unfortunately, see, if you wanted to keep the being Debbie, you should have just said so. Bitch. Let's wait till I get this.
It doesn't take surprise. I think it only should have completed well effectively to do so. You will come to a stop, park there. Car directs crossing area of the lot. Clean up the area that he directs you to. Lights right side car all not healthy interest are is always on your side. Keys. Colin takes the key and slips it in his pocket and slides from the car. Moving to the front of the car, bring the car to the outside of the entrance to the car. Get out. You stay. Nearly dead. Fires are wild.
Yeah, sucks from the car and makes it do. You know, you are far too bossy for somebody I'm not fucking.
Plan number 4 is correct. And he looks toward Zach. Is Zach remaining in the vehicle or is he getting out as requested?
He's stepping out as well, and... Wait. Is he talking to Zach? I'm pretty sure he is, because he seems to know Dia a lot better than he knows Zach, so no reason to be asking Dia that. But just so we're clear, is he actually talking to Zach?
He's talking to you both, or at least that was the aim.
Zach gives a nod to confirm that he is in fact Toreador.
And you. Is this true?
Clan of the Rose. Yes.
And are you actually members of Chicago?
Chicago. I'm from Dolton, and I told you that last time.
I am aware of what you spoke of last time. I'm asking honesty, a lack of gamesmanship. This is not I'm sure that cult that is taking place at your party.
If I were from the biggest city, would I lie and say it's from Dolton? Nobody wants to be from Dolton.
Chicago, Dolton, Chicago Heights, East Chicago. It is all the same.
It is not.
To those who don't
Thank
live
you.
there. You would like to believe so. And I'm sure that your pride would take quite the hit if proven incorrect. And we will leave it there. It's all the same. It is Illinois. And Illinois is all Chicago. The reason why I asked actually from the city, from the gleaming pool, as it would be your meanings of the in line death. So, as I'll have time for disseminations, skullduggery. Are you in line with Decker?
No. In fact, I would have rather not have had to return here, but somebody insisted.
He frowns, looking between Dia and Zach. The game of quietude. I do need answers. Taking a step back into his right, putting Zach between Dia and himself, he aimed. Center mass. I don't have time for games. Are you in line with Decker? Are you from Chicago?
Zach states that he is actually from Riverdale, and he's never even heard of Decker until recently.
This is a matter of considerable effort on my part. You all were allowed a grace from Decker because of your connections with Chicago. He is under the understanding that you are envoys of. It doesn't change based on where you are from. And so you all will be allowed an audience, unlike nearly every other kindred. There won't be any others there save Decker and you all. He is under the understanding that you all are honorable, upstanding members of the tower. And he's willing to play games he has not played before. Societal game, social game, puts him far less armed than he believes himself to be. And the symptom illness of the tower, and because of the tower, you are far more vulnerable than you dare to understand. This disappearance of honor is proof of that.
And Zach at this point is biting his tongue because he is actually aligned with the Anarchs. But he's not about to tell anybody that. He doesn't want to get himself staked and left for the sun. So again, he's holding his tongue.
The matter is very simple. Milwaukee is a very violent place. Milwaukee, until recently, a very honest place. That is no longer the case. But he enmeshes himself more the ideologies of the tower. It becomes more of an actual prince. His concerns for the city, allowing the danger that you all are so very close. It's time. I need you all to do something for me. And for payment, we will not only consider the fact that I helped you escape a culling. All those who congregated in flouting of Decker's law, all those who congregated to be sacrificial lambs to ensuring that Lucina's status remains high. She is proven to be a loyal soldier to Decker's will. All those fools who never understand that they've only been invited to just one of her gatherings. All those who covet the idea of that form of power, who are, even as we speak, being stalked, hunted, and laid to rest in direct opposition to Decker's law. So, do I have to add your charred ashes to the pile, or will you assist me?
I have a feeling you think I know what it is you're about to ask me to do. I'm really hoping that's not it, but fine. Well,
Looking to Zach, are you both on the same page, or are you unable to?
X seems willing to at least listen to what exactly he needs, and basically agrees that he agree. Oh boy. I'm forgetting how to English. Wonderful. Zach seems willing to at least listen to what sort of assistance is required, but has the sneaking suspicion that he's walking into yet another trap. He looks to India and then looks back, indicating that they are, in fact, on the same page, or at least that's how it seems. I don't really know what Dia has planned, but he's continuing to just trust her.
You and your party need to make your meeting with Decker, the entirety of your party. And when the moment is correct, and I throw his laws into his face, when I arrive, you are to ensure that no one else is allowed into this space, save myself and Decker. Simple. He only has his untitled seneschal at the JW Blue, which I'm sure you all have met previously, already spoken. He is a loyal man. His loyalty, however, despite what many believe, is to the title, Prince, not to Decker himself. The rest will be in my hands. will arrive en masse, the fullness of your numbers, in direct opposition to what Decker has stated, and in direct opposition to the many cullings that have happened over the last few years. Is this amenable?
So, what happens once we keep anybody else from entering? What are we being party to that we now have to hide them afterward?
You have to hide anyway. You flouted the prince. You disobeyed his regulation. Were given his blessing. You still flouted the laws given to you. In either way, you'd be hiding. Especially being as it is not very difficult to find the actual persons who perform. There was a show, for God's sake. Your entrance was live streamed. Luckily, Decker doesn't take in the modern technology. However, your entrance was live streamed. There are several social media hit pieces being put together now. You have sparked the blogosphere as far as members of the damned are concerned. You are already on the chop. Would you like to wriggle free of the axe or like it to fall?
Fine. How about cooperation? It's more equal. I take it the rest of your number know nothing about what you're planning.
There are no others like me. They too have grown soft. And with that, he removes the keys and tosses them. So needless to say, as he slips away, you and Zach are there with Frost in the car chomping a bit. What is it that you all are deciding to do?
I don't know what to say other than this has become the worst possible mess possible. Should have never come back here, but here we are. And that is our fate in the future, it seems. We should probably go tell the others.
Zach is running both hands through his maroon hair, once again wondering just what he managed to step in this time. He's breathing quite heavily as the night just went from a promising venture to one trap into another trap. He's just shaking his head and obviously thinking about just what he has managed to get himself into. He's trying to keep his cool, but isn't doing a very good job.
So the drive back to the hotel is a little tense. I'm taking it that Seth is attempting to remain quiet, and Frost is fuming, and Dia.
Dia is plotting murder. Lucia is going to get this all coming back to bite her in the butt. It's on. Lucia has made an enemy.
Okay, so you all arrive back at the hotel. Right here for a hot second. Seth, you and Rob have been commiserating. You all have been enjoying the solace that comes from a semblance of peace. You all are a night at worst from completing a mission and getting you back. And not only getting you back, do you know there's the boon and feather you'd have in your cap? With all the information that you received from in regards to just paying attention, just keeping your eyes open in Indianapolis, just keeping your eyes open in Milwaukee. There is so much free-flowing information, so much that could be used from a distance. And while Rob is a fount of just how often the church leaders make their appearances and how to him it seems so very much like Church of Cain instead of the ministry, and how they have the trappings of Christianity and how they have different churches with different superficial trappings, but underneath it all there's definitely that dark age Catholicism of the Church of Cain, as if in fact what they are is a multi-headed hydra being puppeted by one singular dragon. He talks about the meetings and the outreach program and how there are those amongst them who call themselves Somnian, those amongst them who call themselves I forgot what they exactly call themselves, like the followers of Ashur or something, and how they all blend together into this hodgepodge underlying secret religion that has a good message, and they do good, but there's clearly something else there. He just couldn't put his finger on it because, well, push comes to shove. The truth of the matter is, he is very much just muscle.
I'm taking this all in, and every time Robert is otherwise indisposed, I'm making notes of important things so I don't forget them. I've got my little cop notebook, just scribbling like a crazy person. Rich is gonna owe me so big. Sorry, Seth had a moment there. So basically, I'm just trying to keep Robert patient and keep him talking while we wait for the others to return.
You know the saying, speak of the devil and he shall appear. Frost comes storming through the door, pissed, tearing off the jacket, throwing things aside, and immediately putting back on all of his full gear. There is a fire unleashed in him that is not something that you've seen too often, but nearly every time it has resulted in movie-level theatrics and violence.
I give him a moment to continue to vent as he preps himself, and let him explain his anger.
I mean, he was in the fucking car. What the hell? And the moment he gets that out, in walk Dia and Zach. Segunda stops her pacing near the window and looks towards you with both. Their faces are drawn and haggard as if they've been wrung out. There's a fire, not quite as brightly burning as in Frost, but clearly dancing behind Dia's eyes. And Zach looks as if they've had their head placed inside a tumble dryer.
Which is how his hair looks by default, but more so now than usual.
Not stylishly, but emotionally tumble dried now.
Yeah, that.
At this point, all my happiness of all this information about Indy and Milwaukee that I'm dragging out of Robert, I'm like, I look at them, I watch Frost for a minute to make sure he doesn't accidentally shoot somebody. And I facepalm. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Tia takes a very unnecessary but deep breath, looking at Seth. Well, it seems our lovely friend Lucinda decided that if she couldn't climb to the top on her own, she would use Prince Decca's laws to get rid of the competition. Hence her insistence that I come this evening. We ruined her little plan because she had invited us to perform, and we did far better than she expected. But then at the same time, that was also a trap because there were cameras and video recordings. Once she had chased them all out and said we were having a second set, Zach and I realized that this was a stalling tactic and she was attempting to set us up in some manner and deciding to leave. We left up to the car and there was a visitor. A certain angry Asian enemy. And he gave us an ultimatum. He wants our help with Decca tomorrow at the meeting, or he will make us disappear and we will just be one of those lost in the culling at the party this evening for breaking the prince's law about gatherings.
Sweet Jeebus. So we got played.
Big time, Zach said as he collapses into a chair and is once again running his hand through his hair.
I don't think she realized what she was doing setting it up. It's more she expected us to die in the culling as with the rest of her guests, not for us to figure it out and for Akala to be waiting for us to attempt to put he literally put a gun to Frost's head and I felt horrible about that, mind you.
Okay, so somebody played with our team, and now somebody's trying to do a power play, do a big flash of power, and call that into a promotion.
More than one someone.
Yeah. Well, in that kind of power play, you need other people to work with you, and they all expect to follow on your coattails. Okay, so I mean, I wasn't there for first-hand accounting to get any feels off of anybody. Are there any sides you think are worth taking, or should we see this as a survival exercise?
Definitely survival, but it seems that the sides are anti-Decca and Tower versus Decca and Tower.
Okay. At the end of the day, which side do you think we need to fall on?
To make it out alive, or in general?
Well, making it out alive, let's be optimistic and say that happens. Anybody who makes it out alive is going to be an object of suspicion of both sides. So let's be optimistic, when we make it out alive, who do we want to think we were helping? And who do we care not as much about if they think we were harming them?
Well, the problem with that is if I think what is going to happen tomorrow happens, it won't matter as long as we're on the side of the person that wins. Because otherwise,
yeah,
we'll probably die. And my guess as to what's going to happen tomorrow is that Kawa is going to try to kill the prince and take over his place. Because he feels the prince has gone soft, unemotional, and is running Milwaukee into the ground. Apparently the others still believe in Deca.
Damn it, this isn't even my town. I hate this fucking place. Okay, Milwaukee's definitely moved up the list.
It's not mine either.
Moved up the list.
I just want to go back to Riverdale and go back to what I normally do.
Okay. I don't know much about Decker other than up until recently the rules in Milwaukee were pretty tight and draconian in some areas. So, do we think that he's starting to let go of those feelings and some of his underlings want him to continue to be that way? So they want him out so they can be head bitch in charge?
Akawa said there's no longer honor in running of Milwaukee anymore. I think that means that he's very much in preference to the older ways than whatever is happening now.
I can tell you the older ways didn't sound great when they were explained to me. I mean, we all have people we separately answer to outside of this room, but I think it's the people in this room that have to make a choice. Do we want to help Deckard make it through the night, or do we want to help that not happen? What would be better for Riverdale and Dolton?
That's a hard thing to decide. I don't know. And honestly, the problem it feels is Decker is a psychopath, obviously. But if he can be less of a psychopath, maybe he is the proper prince for Milwaukee. If he cannot back off of the rules and laws, maybe it should be handed over to somebody else. But see, the thing with the other person that I believe wants it is possibly worse than Decker.
The other person that you think is siding with Decker is worse than him?
No, that's against Decker. Akawa might be worse than Decker.
And he would be in this new world order of Milwaukee.
He's the one that held the gun to Robert's head and said, either we help him or he'll make us disappear.
Okay. whole lot of suck in all of this.
You don't say.
We don't know what the exact plan is, right? We're supposed to go to this place, make sure whatever happens, happens, with as few escapees as possible, and then the New World Order takes over. That's the theory that we're working with?
Yes, pretty much that's what he told us. He told us we had to keep anybody else from getting into the room and keep the Seneschal from interfering in whatever it is he has planned, which he has not told us all of what he has planned.
Okay, so obviously the Seneschal is a weak point in Bad Guy's plan. And he wants us to be the bulwark against that and any other little interferences. Knowing what he wants us to do gives us the advantage of, if we don't do it or act directly contrary to it, we can fuck him over. We can put serious salt in his engine of whatever he's planning to do.
He put a gun to my head. Rawson kicks the bed and moves into the restroom.
Sad part is, it isn't the first time that's happened to him, and he acts the same every time. Well, I think we know Frostbolt. But if we are going to decide to screw him over, we have to do it convincingly, and we have to do it with people knowing we're doing it. But we don't want him to know ahead of time that we are going to do it. This is all starting to make my head hurt.
Zach gives a frustrated sigh and says, "And this right here is why I rarely, if ever, involve myself in politics." She basically gives a hint as to just what sect he might be part of.
Yeah. So, if the Seneschal is a sensitive point in the plan, is there a way we can relay our intention to the Seneschal in such a way that A, there's belief on the part of the Seneschal that we are not trying to double cross them, and B, that we can be sure the Seneschal isn't going to scream it from the rooftops and get us killed prematurely?
That old man, I thought if he can't scream. See what this says.
I mean, the older they get, the cagier they get. So, if we walk up to him and say, "Hey, we've heard this thing, and they threatened us, and they want us to do these things to make what we think happen," but we don't want that to happen, so we want to be available to you, is he going to believe what we are saying? Or is he going to assume we are a plot within a plot and have us prematurely disappear?
That is a hard question, and so is the question of Akawa knowing that we know what he wants us to do, but would intentionally attempt to double cross him by thereby being prepared for us double crossing him.
Yeah. There's also the assumption on his part that he's revealed a certain amount of information, but he still doesn't trust us, so he's going to weigh the option of whether we're going to screw him regardless. Guns to people's foreheads notwithstanding. You know, I liked it when coup d'etats was like two guys in a booked depository. This whole big malaise of involving other people in bigger circles is just, you know, a pain in my butt.
So what actually is the plan? For goodness sakes. This time actually bothering to sit down. While she stopped pacing, it's clear that this is a larger involvement than she was prepared for.
Okay, well...
Definitely larger than what Zach was prepared for.
Well, the one thing that we have that these bastards in Milwaukee don't have is we have connections outside of Milwaukee that may be able to enlighten us on things. I have limited contact with my chantry. We could ask some questions that way that should not fall back into Milwaukee ears before tomorrow night.
I see. So basically you want to reach to the outside world and see what they are paying attention to at the moment and what they might know about what's going on here.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got spies everywhere. And the Chantry, the Nosferatu Underground, the Roses have side paths of information that might have leaked something that we need to know before we make a final call. I mean, the Ventru, they're so busy leading, they don't tend to... They pass information along lines of power as much as they pass along lines of the clan. But the Chantry learns something and it passes within the Chantry. Like a plague.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. But again, I caution that any means of contact that we use may or may not be subject to ears.
Yeah, there is the downside. I mean, the list of people that I could contact is fairly short. My sire is always out and about doing weird and strange shit, driving other chantries insane. But Mr. Rich might be a person to contact. I don't know. I met Nicole. She might be, maybe not for me, but for somebody to contact.
I probably should call Nicole anyway to let her know about our little friend and the setup she attempted to pull.
And I have to download to my sponsor and make sure that he's content with my information gathering. He'll want to know about Indianapolis and Milwaukee.
And Zach is keeping quiet because he really does not want to involve Drew or any of his other kindred paramours in this affair. But he's not really seeing much of an option right now, so he's just keeping quiet.
So everybody's gonna reach
But if
out
somebody
to...
brings...
Yeah.
If somebody brings up the possibility of him contacting someone, well, he may or may not.
Well, I'm Frost contact in all of this, so he's made his feelings clear.
So what you're proposing is that we call 2 states away, 1 state away, to see if they have any information as to what's going on.
Well, it's Milwaukee is north of Chicago. Riverdale, Dolton are south of Chicago. All information travels through Chicago.
Yeah, and that's the part that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm from. I know I shouldn't be talking to mixed company, but I'm from Chicago. My maker was from Chicago, and they play more games there with each other anywhere else that I've been. And this is coming from my official sire. Marion took me in. I still ask her why, how could a name like Secunda be applicable to me? But she's stated that she was unwilling to make the same mistake she did initially with her child. So I'm the second, and that came care of Prince Modius. So in my education, looking at the little bit of information that was shared, Akawa is planning some action to either shame or end Prince Decker. Prince Decker wants to know what happened to his child, and we are prepared to lie to him about that to his face. So the real decision here is, do we keep to the plan as originally envisioned, delivering the Prince of Milwaukee and hoping that it sails high? Do we go with the augmented plan, which is lie to the Prince of Milwaukee, side with this Akawa guy who spit in your face because you kept poking him here? Or do we go with option 3? All of the above and none of the above. Lie to the Prince. We keep at least initial part of Akawa's plan until they're in full swing, and then we get our stuff and get the hell out of Dodge and escape before things settle. But I don't know what's really at stake for Dolton. This was supposedly some diplomatic plan. Isn't this a backdoor way for them to keep their independence in public and still have the support in the back door?
Which is why we were talking about reaching out so that we know what our betters want us to do. Those potentially high up in the structure of Dolton, so that we know what they wish us to do.
I mean, whichever way we go, we're making decisions that may not just affect us. We saved Deckard from the plan. Deckard kind of owes us. We betrayed Deckard. Plan goes ahead, Deckard's gone. Now we have a new power structure in Milwaukee that Dolton and Riverdale have to deal with. But is it a better group to deal with than Deckard? We really don't know.
Why would it be?
Or I mean, there's always the last plan of throw everything at the wall, let chaos reign, and just escape. I'm not a big fan of chaos in Milwaukee because that will make Chicago unhappy, and Chicago will stomp around the place until everybody calms down. And that includes Riverdale and Dolton. But we don't know what I mean, there's a big difference between an armed assault and a public shaming. The end result probably won't be that much different. Deckard is gone, one way or the other. But the parts of the plan, there's a big difference between preparing for an armed assault and a political masterstroke.
I think Power knows that I am not a fighter, obviously. Well, maybe a little bit, but not enough to be considered any sort of danger to two combatants of any sort. hoping the political abyss. Sure. He did say that we would be flouting the rules as we came in. Like, if we came in mass together, we were automatically flouting the rules. And almost spitting in Prince Decker's face. So, if we're going to not go along with Akawa's plan, we should probably start with that.
Let Akawa try to pull off his little scheme without any help or hindrance. Let Milwaukee be Milwaukee.
Perhaps, yes. But that's why I said we should probably find out who the people closest to Decker and this city are going to want if they can make a choice.
Yeah, I'm still in favor of contacting those that we know might have a stake in what comes out of all this.
Not Chicago, though. I'm talking about Colin Cole or Geneva.
Yeah. My contact in the Chantry as well. The Chantry spans all the cities, so that might help.
It's at this point when Zack brings up something he just remembered about the kind of person Akawa used to be. Basically, that he was once a huge anarch leader, and his name is still well known amongst the anarchs. And it's at this point where Zack also decides to trust in all of them and reveals his own allegiance to the anarchs. And basically says that he hopes none of them have a problem with that, as long as he continues following their leads.
I'm Tower by birth, but I've never had a direct problem with anarchs.
Secundus looks toward Rob. Well, I'm all for doing whatever's necessary. I have things I need to get to, but I was also just talked to by my sire, my adoptive sire, and my adoptive sire's sire about not completing with me and needing help, because I made the mistake of reaching out and taking you to see Marion and then taking you to see Drea, myself. These, no offense, you being an anarch probably would never understand it. To get the benefits of their connections, you kind of have to do on your own and use your own ingenuity. That way they get to claim it was your fuck up if they want, or they get to claim their training of you. Which is the only reason why I asked about calling our betters and asking what they would much rather do. But Rob, you survived the Indianapolis Bolt underneath the radar. I didn't even really know you were not part of the church. What do you think? Do we help Decker? Do we help Akawa? Do we help neither one of them? Oh, there's a fourth option. We can help them both. A little bit more difficult, I suppose.
What's the option that's at least skin off my back? That's what I go with.
Okay.
And Zack repeats that as long as he gets to see Riverdale again, he really doesn't care.
So that's 1 vote of non-voting, 2 votes of non-voting. Ia, Rob, what do you say?
Something about this whole account thing bothers Dia to the point where, yeah, it's somebody has to stop Akawa. I mean, Decker may be horrible, but maybe Decker will be so caught up with what Akawa's doing that he won't overthink the whole couldn't find your child or thing. Yes, again, just have a point at my whole line to him in his face. Again, maybe just stall for time. Do the best we can to stall for time until Akawa makes his move. But having warned Prince or his central, that something might happen, and let Akawa do his own thing and step into the bear trap, basically.
I mean, Decker's Prince. They have
Because
to have plan Bs, like in a 3-ring binder somewhere.
There's also the fact that if Akawa gets taken out instead of Decker, Akawa won't be there to follow through on his threat to make us disappear.
There is that point. Betray him, let Decker kill him, and then we're in the clear. That does have a certain satisfactory ring to it.
But is it guaranteed? That is the question.
Well, I don't think any part of tomorrow is going to have a guarantee attached to it.
I suspected as much. And he says this with a resigned sigh and is now looking up at the ceiling and removing his jacket to reveal his bare torso. If someone were to look, they would notice one tattoo on each hip. On the left hip is a red and white rose vine, and on the right hip is a black and pink rose vine.
We'll have my exes.
Okay, so I'm getting the consensus, I'm getting the feeling that everybody would, given the choice of two evils, we've decided we think Decker is the lesser.
He's basically the devil you know, yes.
Well, if it's one...
Devil you know is the vibe I'm getting.
Well, it's one thing that I know about Tower and Tremere is there's nothing they really love more than the status quo. So, I think... I mean, I can't be sure without a phone call, but I'm gonna guess that my contact would like Milwaukee to shut the hell up and sit the fuck down while the rest of Chicagoland gets its work done.
No matter what happens tomorrow, one thing is certain. We're all going to need to trust one another, whether we want to or not.
Oh yeah.
The question is, do we trust one another? I trust each of you, even though I hardly know any of you. Question is, who else trusts who?
Why don't we just send Segunda stands up and begins pacing. Our goal is to get it, the message delivered and get out of here. Why don't we send Rob at Akawa when he makes his move? Whatever stands in his way is sure to go down anyway. And even if he doesn't go down, Akawa will formally enter, according to Zach. And I'm sure that if Deckard knew, he'd have some feelings about it, especially being as hardcore as he is. Means no one likes Akawa because he spit in Dia's face, we might as well go ahead, go to the full whole hog.
You mean stomp the rat?
Well, if we're gonna go, we might as well go with a smile. And if Rob's going at Akawa, Deckard, we are all trustworthy. I mean, he may go lenient if Dia doesn't manage to lie to him effectively.
Well, I'm thinking that we can hold off the lie until after Akawa figures out what the hell he's gonna do. If we do that, and we help Deckard in that, he'll be more predisposed to Dia.
Besides, you act as if I'm going to be completely lying. There is only one thing I will be lying about. Everything else will be absolutely the truth. We used as many resources as we had, lost many members of our party, and chased every lead in search for his childhood. All things that happened and that were done. The only change is that she no longer exists.
Right. So we heap a bunch of truth on top of one little lie at the bottom.
Correct.
But not bringing her back, wasn't that the reason why Dami lost his guff with us?
No. Dami lost his guff because he was upset about Dave and Abner and feeling like we weren't listening to what he wanted to do, but all he wanted to do was cry and whine and crawl home with his tail between his legs.
How many did you lose of your old coterie, Dia?
Everett, David, Dami, Abner, and then I'm sure there were more that I hadn't even met that were already lost before this whole thing started, at least for me.
I don't know what any of those people are exactly, but it's a lot of fucking people to lose to one little quest of the prince.
I mean, just extolling the body count on this should hide any deception, especially if we manage to help Deckard with a call.
Yes, this is what I'm hoping for.
Okay, so we have a thought. We have a direction. We have some phone calls to make. But the day of the show, we'll have the venue. We have Deckard on one side, we have a call on the other, and whoever a call is bringing. We know Deckard will probably have bodyguards and hangers-on. Maybe.
No, actually, that was Akawa's point, that during these meetings, he only has the person that he's speaking with at his seneschal. the reason he picked us for this is because he is that Decker will only have us and our number in the room with him speaking and the seneschal.
And we're
So
supposed to get rid
We're
of it.
supposed to be on the coward's side. Yes.
I hate this more and more. But Dave's show. We've got Decker, we've got Akala, we've got us. Hopefully, in Akala's mind, the Seneschal isn't around. Or distracted, or something. We've managed to do something to flummox the Seneschal. And then Akala can do whatever Akala is planning to do. And then we thwart him. So what I'm thinking, day of show, we have Dia, Robert, Frost, Seth, and Zach. Robert and Frost have an obvious part to play. Robert, you're a strong man. And Frost is trained.
I'll try not to let your little pet human get too beat up.
Well, if he's going to this, he's going tacked out. So he's going to be basically a human in a metal pill with guns sticking out.
All right.
So
What about the rest of you?
If you and Frost can keep all of your offense and defense pointed at a column. Dia and Zach, I hate to say it, but you're the diplomats. We're going to be counting on you to read the room. If it's going to be a test of will and power, guns are not going to come into it as much as we would hope.
Yeah, I already figured what my thought in this was. And that's fine with me. It's what I'm best at.
I hope you're better at it than I have ever been, because I almost got fired 3 times as a cop because I couldn't shut the hell up. And for my part, I'm going to do what cops do. I'm going to take a step back and watch the outside and see if any hints can get us information before Akala actually tries something. And everything will be a stalling game until Akala tries something. Because we don't want to try to tell our lie before Akala tries his coup.
That's my understanding.
So unless one of our phone calls results in something where they just tell us to bail the fuck out and we have to sneak out of this town under cover of darkness, I think we have what kind of looks vaguely like a plan on paper.
Agreed.
Alright, sounds like a plan. There's a plan in motion, there's a plan in thought, and as everyone breaks apart separately to make their phone call, because Zach drove home a very real fact that no one actually directly addressed. I mean, they're probably voting with their feet to vote with other sides of where their trust actually lies. But as everyone reaches out to their resources, we will take a quick 10 minutes, and we'll be back here at 10:25. See you guys in a short while.
Yeah, Zach really doesn't want to involve anyone he knows in this. But at the same time, feels like he kind of owes the rest of them. So now I need to plan just who Zach will get in touch with.
Well, just to... because I couldn't squeeze it into our dialogues. When Zach brings up the who do we trust, do we trust each other thing, Seth is nodding along with everything that Zach is saying. And part of his statement that he was born into the tower, but he's never had a problem with anarchs, so he doesn't have that kind of history. That is him saying that the anarch thing is a non-issue. What's happening now is the only real issue. And Seth putting Zach Ford with Dia to be their eyes and ears on the political end of things is his expression of trust in Zach.
Okay, sounds like Zach better start sending some messages then.
Just, not too many.
Obviously.
It's moments like these that I really miss playing Marcus. Marcus's phone is fucking airtight. It would take the NSA weeks to break anything he threw out there. And a bunch of kindred born in the 4th century wouldn't stand a chance.
So, how'd the rest session before I finally showed up go?
It was basically a lot of talking. Frost came in pissed and stomped into the bathroom. So, Seth was having a great day up until the door opened. He had Robert. Robert had beer. Robert talked. And
Also
Seth,
beer.
and Seth took notes. Many, many notes. Because that's what cops do. Oh,
I recently introduced a guy to a vampire, and of course he's going Tremere, and his how he describes his character is he's power hungry and wants the ball to rise.
yeah, power hungry. Saying a Tremere is power hungry is like saying a Venture wants money.
The basic rundown of the lore I gave him of the clans, I explained how they like drank down salt like a smoothie, and then picked a fight with Clan Nosferatu, Clan Timothy, I forgot how to pronounce it all the time. And also the Order of Hermes that they used to be a part of.
Yeah, they killed a bunch of wizards.
Because they're just so bullshit.
Yeah, Tremere.
But yes, I must play Tremere.
Yeah, I've been playing Tremere for about 15, 16 years. I love that clan. But I won't lie, playing Marcus, the Caitiff and the Gary story is fun. I have never played a Caitiff before.
I like how they're slightly cheaper than Ataclan today. Well, every single discipline for them.
Well,
it's not everything's out of plan, which is nice.
They can buy into
6, right?
They can buy into a discipline cheaper at the beginning, but it's more expensive in the long run. Like, I think for a clan vampire to increase a clan discipline, it's ×5. And an out of clan is ×7. But the Caitiff, it's always ×6. Whether it's there is no in clan, out of clan for them.
Yeah.
So
you basically build whatever you want, though.
You can build whatever you want, but there's
Outside of Bane.
Well, no, there's one big bane in that.
No one respects you. Everyone hates your guts.
You're automatically suspect. So I have negative dice in all diplomacy rolls involving my suspect group, which for him is the Ventru, which sucks because the Prince of fucking Chicago is a Ventru.
Child of Lodin, right?
I mean,
one of the most famous Ventru of like all America.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of very powerful Ventru. A lot of princes are Ventru, and I am automatically suspect with all of them, and I'm down like 2 dice pool on all diplomacy actions. That's subterfuge, etiquette, intimidate, all that shit. I get negative dice versus Ventru in social situations.
There's Japan where they have, I forgot which said that. I don't know if it's in canon anymore, but they had a Camilla Temisi as their prince, which is weird as hell.
There was a book that came out, I think in V2. There was a city that had a Caitiff prince. And that was fun.
Huh.
Because I was playing a Tremere in that one too. The Tremere and the Caitiff had made a pact within the city. So the Caitiff were running things, the Tremere were the power behind the throne, and the Ventru were the lowest rung on the ladder. Favorite town ever. Oh man, I got my ass kicked for free. I worked the night shift yesterday, and I worked a morning shift today.
Oh, good
Jeez.
grief.
Yeah, I'm a cook in a casino. I fed like 900 people last night and 600 people this morning. I'm fucking hammered.
God damn.
Man, I finally get to find out my schedule for starting Monday. I get to find it out tonight because, fuck me.
Oh, I am so glad you're not here in the EUP, because the tribal casinos here also love to screw people, especially if you're not native.
Well, the advantage in Vegas is that most of the properties are union. So I have a union job that pays good. I work my ass off for it, but I make a living wage. I'm not like living hand to mouth. I actually get to put money into savings. Oh, fuck me. Fuck me twice. God damn, my schedule next week is a train wreck. I have Monday and Thursday off. And I get to do the running home thing on Saturday again. I'm gonna bring my headphones so I can listen to you guys.
Huh.
Yeah, I forgot my fucking headphones, so I couldn't listen to the first half of the game.
Are we truly that entertaining? Aww.
Well, I'd like to know what landmines I'm walking into before, logging into my own computer. It all sounded like butter. The end of the last session was we were playing guitar and it was all good, and me and Robert were in the back room getting drunk, and that was awesome. And then I come back today and it's like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah. Welcome to World of Darkness.
What the fuck did you do?
Glad this isn't Vampire the Masquerade Leverage Edition. Not sure if any of you are familiar with Leverage, but knowing Parker, it would be pretty chaotic.
What's leverage?
Parker would definitely be a monk.
And thanks for tuning back in to Quiet Storm, Dolton Code. We're going to get us back to some nice, easy listening around midnight. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Hold on just a minute. Let me deal with the dog one more time, and then I am all yours.
I just need to pull something real quick here. The character I'm about to post, that would be Parker from the show Leverage. As you can see, Parker's insane.
Okay. Dia, you back?
Just
Okay. With all of the many permutations floating in the air as to what your plans are and what your plan is there anyone or anything that Dia reaches out to? Does she call, text, type, send a carrier pigeon?
She wants to reach out to Nicole because even if she doesn't tell Nicole about the whole thing with the prince, she definitely wants to let Nicole know about Lucinda.
So, as per usual, you call and catch Nicole. She answers your call at nearly any hour of the night, nearly for any reason, unless there's something else that comes into focus or necessitating her to call you back. Luckily, you've called her before she's managed to completely go on stage. And for the Pisketeers, going on stage for Nicole is literally making her way down to the speakeasy, the quiet, intimate gathering of those who know that the Pisketeers, in fact, is a full-fledged, full octane fetish club. They put on their small shows, but for those not in the know, the Pisketeers Lounge is just a neighborhood bar with slightly larger floor space than one would expect, but it is just a bar as far as most people are concerned. Those in the know, such as Dia, understands that it is the fledged seat of the Toreador's power and authority in Dolton, the crown jewel in township. Most people just think it's just a club. So before going on stage, she takes your call. She's her usual. Well, look at here. It's a good thing that you called when you did. I was just about on stage. How are things go? You should be on your way back here soon, shouldn't you?
Well, about that. I brought her a gift, I really did. She never got to open it, though. Seems our lovely Lucinda has a bit of a score to settle with me or you or something because she attempted to use Becca's law about gathering against me this evening and lure me to a party. Where then she disappeared before the goon squad showed up.
That's not
Luckily, no,
exactly.
she escaped.
Well, that's not exactly as neighborly you had been led to believe that she would be. However, you have made it away safe and sound, so that should be a very good thing. There are other ways
No,
to.
I was told that there were electronic recordings of the party and its attendees.
Oh no, that is not. That ain't good at all. It is definitely the opposite of good. I'll reach out to Olivia and have her work towards perhaps getting these things all situated for her. Is there anything specifically that pops up? Something I should be more aware of?
It seems she's been using these parties to get rid of competition. Not all of the people at the party were Toreador. There were a lot of posers and humans, but she's, yeah, knowing what the rules are and skating around them or attempting to, only to disappear before the people who would be arrested and or killed for this happen to get arrested and or killed for this.
Well, that does bear some investigation. Are you still with the detective that I sent for backup for you?
Yes.
Excellent. And make sure that he's none the wiser what happened to the others. Part of our arrangement for his backup is getting that information. We'll get back here, hopefully tonight, right?
No, the Seneschal made us promise to wait until tomorrow evening to see Becca because he would not see us immediately upon arrival.
Oh, that. You know what? Give me a few moments. I'm going to go ahead and make that call. As a matter of fact, hang on. Lucina put you in trouble, and you can hear her clicking her fingers at somebody near at hand that come here, and when they do, there's a movement of cloth and a snatching of things, and you can hear her click-clacking on a keyboard, and you know that she's using someone else's phone to send a missive to the grapevine. If you post up there wherever you are, you'll be receiving a call very shortly, and they'll make arrangements. Messina clearly owes me after putting my most precious child at risk. Oh, you know what? Let me give you a call back. There's some little blonde kindred in here getting everybody's attention. I'll call you back shortly, or reach out to me once you're done with your situation with Decker.
Okay, Nicole. Till sunrise, right?
Of course.
And hangs up.
And as you can see in the in-character messaging section, Zach sent a text to one of his kindred girlfriends by the name of Sasha, a Ventro who's of at least some notoriety in the Riverdale area. And is definitely known for always having her ear to the ground.
Okay. I'll get back to Sasha in a hot second. I'll slide along it.
I can wait.
We're sliding along. Now, Robert, with all the plans afoot circulating, what it clearly boils down to is that push come to shove, shove come to pushes, you are going to take out a coward. Is there anything else or anyone else you'd attempt to reach out to otherwise while away at the time?
Everyone's clacking away at their phones. Robert probably just picked up a chair and lean back and relax until it's time to crash skulls.
Alright, sounds like a plan. And considering as many beers, whiskeys that way while Zach and Dia were at the party, while you don't get the buzz of it, there is a fullness that presents itself, considering that it is sitting there until you have the opportunity to later.
Stuff with alcohol might come useful later.
Alright, sounds like a plan. Let's like if you went to the old school, the ultimate fighter competition. Seth reaching out to James is a little weird because there's so many different protocols you all have just in operation for the most part. If cannot and do not have access to a secure line, you don't reach directly to that person because of the inherent risk.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, being 2 states away, the likelihood of mine being monitored is very, very slim. But the chances are never absolutely zero.
No.
Good evening, Detective. I was hoping that I would hear some very, very good news. Wayward child. What
Well-
news? Have
Well, the news is bifurcated and complex.
complex can be a very good thing. It keeps those small understand they should not. After all, a little bit of knowledge is far too much power for a small.
Well, I've gained a fair amount of knowledge, and I want to make sure that it gets unloaded to you at your convenience. But I have a more pressing issue. In the course of my investigation, I got roped into a side project up here in Milwaukee concerning the professional leadership of the biggest group in the city, and one of his, let's call it, professional corporate antitheses in thema, wanting to depose him.
Oh, you're involved in a labor dispute.
Well, it's more of a managerial level of dispute, like highest level of management in Milwaukee.
Yes, that tends to happen after a certain period of time. I had to stare down the barrel of such an incident myself a time or two. My suggestion, and the only suggestion that has any real merit, is always, despite feelings otherwise, make your vote clear, direct, succinct, and all about profit.
And that is the direction that the person in question that you had me following up on also suggested. And what we're thinking is the status quo is to be protected in this instance.
If that is the most profitable, but if it is not the most profitable, we have to risk a gambit of what has already been done. Doing good money after bad is almost as bad as not having the money to do it to begin with.
Well, this particular CEO is not the prettiest penny in the bunch, but the person attempting the hostile takeover of this corporation seems to be a dingier penny by far. He's an old school Lincoln. And I don't think that our interests, our business interests in Riverdale or Dolton would be improved by his success. So I'm thinking the CEO as he stands should remain standing.
Excellent. Well, then we have a decision. That's a great call to make. And if you have received information as per the lovely and talented Mr. Yeager, that would be most accurately represented. I want to thank you for your success so far. There are several issues afield. One of the many insurance policies and security alarms that we erected has gone off. I'm headed out now to visit a few friends and ensure that things are as safe as they should be. Would you like me to send a message or a messenger once things have reached their correct conclusion?
If they reach the correct conclusion, I'll be my own messenger in a day or two. If things go a little pear-shaped up here, I've been keeping notes, and those notes will be made available to you by name at my current domicile here in Milwaukee. Just ask at the front desk and everything will be handled.
That seems absolutely worrying, but I understand.
Well,
I look forward to either receiving that report or picking up your parcel. But I really must be going. Unfortunately, there is some spillover, and it seems as if we may have wild dogs in the neighborhood, and that is never a good thing. Hopefully they don't have fleas. I will reach out to you the moment that I am able.
and I will hopefully be in my office, close of business tomorrow.
Good evening.
Good evening. At that point, I hang up, and I make plans with the front desk to keep my notebook in their house safe, and only to be given to me or James Rich by name.
But of course, that is always something that we can accomplish for you. Is there anything else you can tell us at this point?
No, that will do me. And when I hang up the phone, I see Dia's done with her discussion and Robert's still relaxing. I say, okay, well, word from my end is the status quo is the preferred methodology. So we have titular acceptance from my contacts in Riverdale.
No matter where you go, things always stay the same. Always by the book.
We vampires really like continuity.
Isn't it boring after a while? This is the same jackass tell you what to do every day. The exact same little jobs. That's human shit.
But given the state of Kindred, it's usually safer.
Well, I've always been one to discharge safety for fun. Release a little bit of mix up.
Yeah, a little chaos gives cover, but
And as Zach fires off their missive and looks towards Rob and Seth's conversation, their phone lights up again with a severely quick jotted off message from Sasha, i.e. Princess. There are several things more plentiful than blue bloods in Thornton Township. Those things would be unicorns, fairies, flying rhinoceroses, are all far more plentiful than venture in Thornton Township. Princess gets by because no one understands or knows what they are. In fact, members of the Blue Blood, as far as anyone is concerned, this is either a Bruja or a Cato. And that ability for being a very calm Bruja or a very learned Cato, a very moneyed Cato, has gotten them indoors, has gotten them connected with all sorts of people. What Zach realizes above everyone else is that Princess makes their money the good old-fashioned way, by hook, by crook, by stealing it, by counterfeiting it, by doing all manner of less than legal activities. It's the reason why they always have their ear not only to the ground, they have their fangs firmly in the pulse of anything and everything that may happen or may generate some money that someone else can have with a little force.
Zach shows the group the text he received and explains who Princess is. Both who she actually is and his relation to her.
Robert puts his fingers to his chin in confusion. I don't know why she's laughing at flying rhinoceroses. I've seen those fuckers. You guys have been on the shit like me.
Okay, so at this point, we gotta think about what Akawa might be trying. I mean, his plan is to put us in a room. Decker, Akawa, the five of us. And hopefully the Seneschal is, from Akawa's point of view, hopefully the Seneschal is off to the side. Not really paying attention or not in the room, whatever. In those circumstances, what do y'all think he's gonna do? Do you think it's gonna be a physical power play?
I'd run if I was them.
I mean,
beg for my life.
In those circumstances, Akawa would want to know that the five of us, absolutely know the five of us are on Akawa's side. Because if anything else were true, Akawa would be screwed. Like, he might get 2 or 3 of us in a rush, but not before he turned his head into a canoe. So what, you guys are roses. This is the game you all play. What do you think he can bring to bear against Decker?
He iterated that we are to keep the Seneschal from interfering and keep anyone else from entering the room once it's just us.
So he's hoping for a one-on-one with Decker.
Yes.
So do you think it'll be physical?
It certainly sounds like it.
I don't know Decker and Akawa well enough to know how...
Decker is no slouch as far as weaponry goes. I watched him fight a werewolf along with the others. So
But
perhaps not evenly matched, but fairly well matched.
But Akawa, what do they bring to a physical fight? What do they bring to a physical fight that we actually know? You say Decker fought a Lyco. What do we know about Akawa in those same circumstances?
Segunda speaks up if they can. There are 2 different levels of badasses in Milwaukee, and they all center around being able to stand toe to toe long enough to take out a lupine. The only
I'm
person,
screwed.
the only people who have done the job as long as Decker are Akawa and Rolf, the Viking. Those three have done the job even during the old prince's reign, when the Sabbath was running wild through the area, when the wolf pack was this way nearly every other weekend. And even before the wolf pack were the local archons, Akawa, Rolf, and Decker were doing the job on a daily basis.
So physically, they're matches for each other.
Best I could guess.
So, Akala thinks that him alone in a room, protected by us, he can make a physical change. He potentially has the ability to make a physical change in leadership.
Yes. He feels that Decker has gone soft, especially in dealing with people from out of the general area of Milwaukee. When we were let go before being punished instead of killed, I think it made him angry. He felt we should have been made an example of entirely and probably killed.
So blood doesn't bother. But what political things could he do? What? I mean, he's been around Decker a long time, I'm assuming, so he knows things. Is there any political maneuvering we need to prepare for?
The fact he keeps harping on the fact that we coming in together would be breaking the prince's most stringent rule directly in his face, and that he's betting that Decker won't do anything about it because we are his honored guests.
So basically, on the political side, he's saying, you make rules, but you break them whenever you want. You don't deserve to be prince anymore.
Yes.
Prince is breaking rules.
Which will either force Decker to act or to look like a fool.
So he's hoping to make him a fool, and then probably physically depose him somehow.
His eyes just kind of close for a moment and they go still. And then the frown happens. Why didn't I see this from the start? He doesn't want to kill Decker. He's proving his loyalty to Decker by bringing him the outlaws that escaped him before, ones who flout his rules.
So he's planning to sacrifice us in the name of his coup.
Exactly. To make friends with Decker more tightly, and prove his loyalty, and make Decker choose, which would ruin the deal for Chicago and make them enemies again. We're his trap either way.
So how will you avoid that?
The phone rings.
I'm expecting a call, but okay. And they answer.
Excuse me, Miss White.
Yes, it is me.
I know it's hard to deal in such an old way these days, especially with everybody listening in, but this is Mr. Blue. I've just received a call, several phones, and I wished avoidable calls from your friend, your fellow gardeners, or your fellow, you know what I'm saying.
I think I do, yes.
Lucina that had considerable pressure placed on them to make amends for the prank they attempted. I have been arm twisted and otherwise browbeat within an inch of my genuine distance. Things have been moved around, and if you are able, and if you are not able, you are to be here within the hour, sit down and give an accounting report. I was told you all know the address of where you're supposed to meet, so I'll keep an eye out and properly address the staff so they know that you're coming. You have a nice night. Please don't have to do a job.
See you soon. And then they hang up and look completely, utterly confused. It seems as if our meeting with the principal has been moved up to an hour from now.
Zack silently curses, but it's still loud enough for the others to hear. As he puts his coat back on.
Well, that ruins Akawa's plans, does it not?
The question is, will we all make it out?
This is the meeting with Decker, right?
Yes.
So our lie will predate us trying to save his life.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, so we gotta finalize the lie, make it clean.
I suppose. We can't say we didn't find her,
Okay.
because we did obviously find her, which is why I was sticking with she no longer exists. Which is vague
Okay.
and doesn't give a specific time frame.
Then we have 60 minutes to decide whether we tell him Akawa tried to browbeat us.
There is one thing that, as you all are gathering yourselves and girding your loins, also double checking to ensure that everything is properly oiled and he has backups necessary to reload on the fly. How is Akawa going to embarrass Decker if there's no one else in it?
Yeah, if he kills us tonight, how is Akawa going to embarrass us tomorrow?
No, even your meeting that was planned for tomorrow, how would Akawa embarrass Decker into action? or save him from embarrassment if there's no one else.
Okay, so everybody get ready to browbeat and run. We are about to take it in the teeth or pull off a miracle.
Finally.
I'm starting to wonder if the Seneschal is meant to be the witness or somebody else from their newbie who are going to break through the lines and make it in to see Akawa attempting to save the prince from us.
One does have to wonder.
Well, it wouldn't be beyond a power play to scare the shit out of us and then put us on the defensive as we walk into the meeting that's about to happen. So, Frost, I need you to look less military. And Robert,
I am not taking off this armor. He put a gun to my head.
Just wear a suit on top of it or something, man. I don't want you to look like a pillbox. And Robert, me and you are definitely going to be standing in front of Frost today. Frost is our ace in the hole.
Alright. How so?
Because we're hiding the fact that he's going to be carrying guns like a crazy person.
Like a super sane person.
You wouldn't need claws, wasn't for that weak mortal flesh. Guns.
Let me see you swallow a shotgun and see how weak you think the guns are.
I've taken a few rounds of buckshot in my day. First light hell.
Amateurs, you don't use buckshot, you use solid shot. Solid slug, really close, makes a hole in everything.
I'm not talking about when I was a vampire.
So as you all load up,
Meanwhile, Zach is burying his face in his eyes and chanting to himself that he is so screwed. And then shows him the text he got from Drew.
Come on, pretty boy. Step yourself in the back of the car. Hide behind the big people.
you know, Eritrea, this says, somehow managing to have changed into a dark blue ensemble fairly quickly. Eritrea says that everything was fine and good with Fenris. They could tie him up in all manner of chains, all manner of things that were made to hold even gods, until the other gods got together and were being really, really nice. And they brought out this thin, small, effete-looking bit of string. It wasn't well made to look at. It wasn't excessively thick. It wasn't made of anything that Fenris should be able to hold. Yet that thin piece of string, that thin piece of yarn, scared Wolf so bad that only the promise of flesh would get him to allow them to tie him. He broke everything they tossed at him. He outgrew every manacle they attempted to lock around his throat. And it was only when they did something different, only when they brought out something that should never in 100 million years, that the as hackers and up. And you know, people in power, they're okay as long as you're bowing and scraping, boot kissing and licking, and hating it. The moment you start liking it, or the moment you put your smooth talkers in the back, is when their hackers get it. But that's just Eritrea talking. You know, old Kindred have a habit of always really long story instead of getting down to the recipe.
No, actually, I think that makes sense. I think. I know you're going to say, hey, this idea wrong. Frost and Seth. But I think that only one or two of us should go in with the prince so that a coward does not have numbers on his side and cannot use us as a threat against the prince when the others come in or attempt to think that we are attacking the prince. There won't be enough of us to attack the prince. Enough of us to be a threat to the prince or break his rules about more than 2 to 3 kindred in a space. Especially since you two only just got here, and Zach knew very little of all that went on before. I should be the one to share what has happened so far. And as one of the least threatening, as far as lips go, and reputation, I'd really lose amounts of danger to the prince. And I know, again, I'd be putting myself in danger because should you attempt to burst in later, who knows what the coward will do. But I'm going to have to trust that the rest of you have my back.
Okay. I think I understand the politics of the situation. Send in the least aggressive members of our group and hold back those of us who are trained for hurt. I can agree with that if we figure out a way for us to get to you quickly if things go pear-shaped.
Wouldn't that be easy, considering Zach is there? And according to Frost, between all of you put a gun to their head, didn't they do a really good job with the speed? So isn't speed your thing, Zach?
Speed? And what manner of speaking?
Then that would be helpful as if things go pear-shaped, you could get to the door and let the others in quickest to come to our aid, hopefully. But again, I'm praying that it doesn't have to go to that.
Do you all have a safe word? Mine is gummy bear.
Oh, good God, it's the goodness.
Yeah, you need to have a clear-cut understanding. Because if Zach moves too quickly, or if Zach moves when Thea doesn't distract Decker, or Zach moves before Akawa makes his move, too late after Akawa makes his move, then, well,
Well, let's put multiple options in play. I got a cheap ass phone, but texting still works. Just program my number with a 911. That gives Dia an option. Zach is option 2, getting to the door.
Okay, I'm actually also asking the storyteller what exactly is meant by speed. Like dexterity, celerity, a little bit of both.
Both.
Yep.
Dex and Celerity are your
Okay.
speed.
Like dexterity, I've got 3 dots, and then celerity, I got 1.
Okay.
So you're probably the fastest person among us. And you're the one going in with Dia. If we keep all our combat assets on the outside, and all of our non-combat talkie accent abilities inside, the disadvantage is that there's time between problem and solution. If talking becomes a problem and shooty becomes a solution, there needs to be a way to expedite that. So if Dia and Zach both have Seth's number with a simple 911 text ready to send, that should mitigate the problem.
I think Robert should come in with us at once.
Do you want Robert or you want Frost? Robert is big, but he's also kindred. Frost is small, but he's also a ghoul, so he can
It
be.
wouldn't count.
It wouldn't
Sorry.
count. It wouldn't count as another kindred in the room. That's what I'm saying. Frost does not count
Perfect.
as a power player.
And then, in that case, I can, if things go badly, offer Robert. Again, sorry, Robert. I don't know why you're in my mind this evening. Anyway, Frost, I can offer a fruit plate if things go sideways.
Exactly. If me and Robert are on the outside, Dia and Frost are on the inside.
And so then this can be outside with you.
No. I'll be in the car.
Secundus is
you all-
obviously planning ahead.
If you all come running, know that whoever's at the back of the line probably will not make it because I'm stepping on the gas. I have places to be and things to accomplish outside of helping you. I've stuck my neck out and gotten chewed out by not just from my mentor, not just by my Mala, not by my adoptive sire, but by my sire's sire.
So Secundus will be outside with us. With the key in the ignition, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like Secundus is going to be the getaway driver.
Okay, so Dia, Zach, and Frost go in. Is that too much?
No, that's about right.
And then me and Robert will be outside.
Correct. Yes.
All the physical violence will be outside, except for the one kind. And the kind will always be underestimated, we hope.
Correct. And should things attempt to go sideways and the other newbie attempt to rush in, make sure that they realize that we are not against them and we mean them no harm either, because you do not wish for them to rush in and automatically fall for the picture that a coward is trying to paint. and planting a target on our back.
Right.
So,
So if we see the seneschal or any of their underlings heading towards the room, we make sure that we make it obvious that you and Zach will probably be on the ground hiding for cover. And then we are there just to support the seneschal.
yes.
This is your deal, and I'm agreeing with every part of this plan. Especially the part where I run away.
We don't want to be perceived as a threat.
Right.
And even should Deca turn on us somehow.
I think Frost is perfect because he portrays your power without portraying threat.
Correct. And then we can take the time, should things go sideways, to leave as quickly as possible.
Exactly. Secundus has obviously volunteered to keep the engine running. So I think we're ready. I think we're all set. Robert, you and I have partaken. We should probably deal with that before we go. And with that, Seth goes to the bathroom.
Wait, partaking in what?
Food and drink, brother. That
I want really to be close. I know a thing a Dangel from Mexico showed me. Kind of supposed to make you close brothers.
Well, I have drinking a half bottle of scotch, and it's just sitting there right now. And the taste was wonderful, but it needs to not be in my way later on.
I plan to vomit on some poor staff and put my lighter at him later. And I tricked many times, never gets old.
Oh, that's just gruesome. Seth takes care of his problem in private in the bathroom.
Meanwhile, Zach is waiting on a response from Drew. Well, hopefully a response from Drew.
That actually snuck by me. I didn't see it there. They had another. So, second, you all make the drive.
Okay, the drive will give Zach some time to smooth out his hair, basically make himself presentable again.
Seth is wearing a suit he got from the Tories, so he's looking better than he has in a while.
The step up in wardrobe is exponential.
Yes. The off-the-rack Sears special has been replaced by an Armani. I'm feeling the love.
And meanwhile, Zach shows everyone the text he just got from Drew, advising them to just say screw it and get the heck out of there.
Or a bit too deep. Short stuff.
I am well aware. But I am predisposed to sharing information with those I place my trust in.
I'm not totally adverse to the runaway and hide plan, but I think we're a little deep right now. And getting things clear with Decker might clean up things down in Riverdale and Dolton, making our lives much easier.
Independent mute on. Sorry about that. What I need from everyone at this point is take a quick gander at the mechanics of the character, i.e. the dots. Find your best skill plus attribute and roll that for me.
The best attribute and the best skill, period?
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
Oh boy. Would merits or disciplines help in this instance?
In this instance, it's going to be a flat roll with potential addendums based on those things at a dramatically appropriate.
Wait, could you repeat that, please?
Depending on dramatically appropriate setting, it's just those may be additions at a later date.
Okay, like, say it was charisma plus persuasion.
Okay.
Okay, two of my skills are tied for how big the pool is. So do I just pick the one that seems like it'd make more sense?
Yep.
That's what I'm doing, because I have several tied skills. I'm just gonna go with the attribute of the skill. Oh boy. This is not looking good.
All right, so here is there is something magical that transpires when those who have the knowledge, who have the wisdom to use it, and the self-preservational instincts to abandon all hope that things will not go wrong. The coterie, the associates, have comfortably reached that Rubicon. They have crossed that threshold when the sheer number of things aligned against them, the planning, the forethought. They are 100% sure in their actions on what they are aligned against. Through no small amount of luck, skill, and dedication to survival, Coterie is able to not only snow in Decker with the idea that Honor was found, disappeared, non-existent. She went up like a puff of smoke to never return. They cut off the very human security forces Akawa had in place to further the setup, to make it seem as if even the crowd, the Coterie was even a threat to Decker. They managed to figure out that Akawa had every intention of making them the very much bad guy and catalyst to Decker launching a code with the Camarilla's gleaming gem. They also uncovered in the course of their actions that Akawa had not, as the rabble, as the Anarchs believed, abandoned his flag. He didn't drop the cause, he merely upped and changed to a very drawn out con to have a prince working for Anarch ideals without ever realizing it. He has been a mole, a fifth column within the ports of Milwaukee this entire time. He has been helping Decker reach to the excess that makes everyone believe that not only is he a passionate, active defender of kindred, but the very worst in what princes are is psychopathic, not passionate. It has all been a very long con acted on by Akawa. A poison pill in the heart of it. So much so, the information that you all discover, the routing you all make against Akawa's forces, Decker promises you territory. Sets aside an area that can be your domain. Your successes in the here and now and the immediate evils out of his sight washes over the very real fact that you don't have his child with you.
Wait, so we lucked out?
You are here in front of Decker with the very real opportunity to obtain Maine. You have uncovered everything that I just mentioned and a little bit more, which we'll go into potentially later if you all would like. But right now, the choice is apparent. Will you stay in Milwaukee and take the domain? Will you help Decker rout out the evils of his court? Or do you all head home?
So he's offering us a domain somewhere within Milwaukee's limits.
Domain and status will all could be the weapons and items for change. You can have him back away from the precipice that Akawa's predilections and his subtle working against the Camarilla from within have caused.
Oh. Seth almost shivers.
Zach is in conflict because while he really doesn't want Akawa being in charge, he also feels as though being a prince's weapon would basically be betraying the Anarchs and joining the Camarilla. But he's biting his tongue right now, but the Coterie would be able to see the conflict in his eyes. Basically, anybody who knows of his allegiance sees the conflict in his eyes.
And Seth understands, and I'm pretty sure Dia does as well. And Seth leans into Zach and goes, "It's Barony," and walks away another half step. Just those 3 words, and then moves back.
Okay, what 3 words?
It's a barony.
Hearing what the prince has offered, smiles. You are quite generous, Your Highness, but home that I need to attend to. I've been away from my city for far too long at this point. Nicole needs me, and I must return home. Again, thank you for your generous offer, and I understand what it is you're attempting to do here in your lovely city, but I cannot live here and be part of it.
Seth, on the other hand, his Tremere kicking in full fucking gear at this point. He's got a ghoul in tow, he's got Robert with him. He's fucking dancing on fucking icicles right now. He's like, I would be privileged to establish a demons within your area of control as a vanguard for your further efforts. And obviously, as Dia is required elsewhere, I do not have those shackles about me. I do not already have things to do, places to be, and I would be honored to take up a demons within Milwaukee to further the goals of what you are trying to achieve.
Excellent.
It wouldn't even have to be large. I am, by vocation, a police officer and a military man, and have studied your city in the last few days, and the area around Midtown and Tiefenhaller Park. Which no one seems to have picked up. I would exert your control in that area and move an office up here with my friend Frost and Robert, and of course Dia, who's done so much to help you, would be invited anytime and be offered a haven within that area.
I'd honestly rather join whatever Seth's gonna run than if I have my own. If you ask me.
Well, a haven would be offered to you as well, Robert.
I don't do leadership very well.
It wouldn't be leadership. A haven is absolute. Your haven would be your own. And the area we would have to patrol is tiny. It would occupy almost no amount of your time.
And there's some nasty beasts around to hunt too.
Exactly. You would be able to have fun all day long. And we would have Frost around. You guys could play whenever you want. And Dia would definitely have a domicile in the area if she wished. And Zach could, play guitar.
Alright, you convinced me. I'm up for it.
This would help. I'm down for visiting every now and again, but as for claiming domain, I'm afraid I have my own business elsewhere.
Oh,
But
no,
again,
no, no.
the author is more than generous.
Your visits would be more than enough to lend credence to any dements that I established for us. And it would offer us a central location should we need it.
I'll see if I can pool my resources.
So, with the very much accepted, there's an understanding that to conclude your business, i.e., wrap up your 2 weeks and put in your proper notice in your other areas for those of you accepting. So he expects to see you back within the weeks that he can welcome you in front of the court and get things properly set up. And he'll be handled by good old JW, assistant, all necessary. I will see you all before the week is out. And with that, you all exit the meeting, heading to your awaiting vehicle so that you can conduct what you need to do in the south suburbs to begin your space and your time here in Milwaukee. Is there a conversation in the elevator?
Okay, we are out of earshot of anybody related to Deckard at this point, right?
Yes.
Phew, Jesus, guys. Holy cow. Are you trying to kill me? I mean, I've never heard of a kindred having a heart attack, but I came damn close.
Zach is just heaving several sighs of relief.
With
that
our
he's
kind,
going to be making it
heart
home.
attack usually means the heart was ripped out of the chest or stayed through.
Exactly. Holy crap. A prince of a city was offering us a demons. I understand Dia's apprehension. I totally do. But one of us had to accept, or it would have been an insult of unimaginable proportion. And James would have beat, Mr. Rich would have beat me for a week, just for fun. Okay, so hopefully he listened to me and accepted the location. Tiff in Hellhart Park is upper middle class. Hopefully, 27th and Walnut with 24th. It's a small, tiny Demons. It's tiny, but it gives us a place. I'll make sure that everybody has what they want. Including, naked vampires for Zach.
Zach chuckles audibly at this. And then pats Seth on the shoulder several times. Well, now, you're certainly making it hard for me to say no.
I'm trying to make it hard to say no. And Robert, I know the whole hierarchy of command is a problem. But remember, a demons is just an area of control. But you would have a haven, and that haven is completely yours. No questions asked. Whatever happens in the haven, stays in the haven. But if we can maintain a demons, even in Milwaukee, we will always be able to retreat. We will always be able to exert power.
Sounds good to me.
And Dia, I know you desperately need to go back to Nicole. You need to do your things down at Dolton and Riverdale. And I will make absolutely sure that running things up here in Milwaukee, they are not going to hinder what you need to do down there.
So I realize, yes, that somebody needed to say yes, but I couldn't lie to him any further.
I'm a Tremere, and they offered me a spot.
No, I have a little trip that needs taking, and then I will head back to Dolton.
Absolutely. I will.
I need to pick a little something up for somebody dear to me. And then I will resolve my business and maybe return in due time. If things proceed as planned.
The prince gave us a whole week to get shit squared away. So we can do what we need to do. And I will investigate the area. And hopefully he'll accept the minimal borders that I've figured out. Without Dia's involvement, I don't think I can ask for too much. But I think I can get 4 square blocks of a dentist.
It's not done.
Maybe 3 square blocks.
As everyone is making their way down an elevator, and the promise of the domain hangs in the air, there is, without a shadow of a doubt, you're understanding that this is impossible. The impossible has happened. Not only do neonates and even most Insula never actually receive officially recognized domains, kindred not of a city are luckily if they are able to obtain a bed to hide their resting place. This is the absolute definition of never should try. And there is still the fact that while you are valiant, you all brave, you all shut down a plan that had been decades in the making. Kawa's physical prowess was sufficient by being vomited off by Robert, and the 16-story leap to safety and escape. You all did the unthinkable. You unmasked an anarch double agent within whispering distance of the prince of a major city. You all managed to stare the devil in the eye and convince him that up was down and down was up. You managed to do something that will go down in history, that will gossip about gossip, retelling the night that Viscoder and the associates from Dolton stormed Prince Decker's citadel and drove out one of the Anubi. The associates of Dolton managed to rip the prince's child from his crying, seeking arms and send her into the wind. The associates of Dolton not only embarrassed Decker, but made him give them territory.
Oh, every atom of my Tremere clan fucking blood is singing right now.
So, with all of those thoughts percolating and bouncing around, and Segundus was like, while you all were inside, I did meet up with my contact. I do have what I need. It is in the trunk. And I know you all promised to help me get this to Gary. No offense, but you guys are a lot of trouble. And this thing is supposedly your level radioactive. So without taking too much offense, you guys attract trouble. I rented a car. It'll be here in about 15 minutes. It should have enough seating for everybody. I have to go. Tell me all the good news later. I'm going to come down and see you at the Biscuiteers and at the Betty, and we can talk about it. At the Rosie, and we'll talk about it, okay? Good night, everybody. And she takes off. It is clear, without a shadow of a doubt, that you all scared the absolute socks off her. As brave as she is, imagine being a Kindred for less than a year, literally a few months, and being this enmeshed in high-level machination and chaos.
And Zach is gonna have one heck of a story to tell his lovers.
And thinking of Zach's lovers and the sheer amount of space it required, you all have no way to properly compare the balance of the vehicle. It is a stretched Escalade with full blacked out tinted windows. The driver is clearly kindred associated, and you can tell that Frost starts going on and on about them having the run flats, about them having the ability and the countermeasures, and the fact that the black paint isn't actually black paint. It is reflective so that speed traps, i.e. radars, will bounce off of it, and he just goes on and on. This is the highest quality, highest tech civilian APC, for lack of a better word.
Okay, and while that's going on, would Zach have time to run into the gift shop and buy a necklace?
Unfortunately, they would not. The vehicle is a rental, are on the clock. He has been told to get you all to Indianapolis. Not Indianapolis, I'm sorry. He's been told to get you all to Dolton.
Well, looks like Zach's gonna have to hold off on the gifts for now. Even though he definitely owes Sasha a gift and a thorough explanation. Good thing you already got a gift for Drew.
Dia, as the resident momentary situational leader and social point of the spear, what's going on?
Dia is noticing that Sugan just, of course, was in such a hurry to leave them behind, and she understands a bit because they do seem to attract trouble as a group. She was a little, not betrayed, but insulted because she made the promise to get Sugan to Gary, and even though nobody was holding them to that, it was important that opportunity was taken. But then now there's also kind of a worry about Dolton. And something Nicole said, just kind of sticking with them about some things going on that they should probably handle at home. So yeah, Dia gets into the car and shuts everything out.
Zach's climbing in as well and keeping what Sasha and Drew said thoroughly in mind. And he's really worried right now about them and about Dolton and Riverdale.
So because of the outfitting of the vehicle, pretty much everybody's almost able to take an entire love seat to themselves. With the extended tank of gas, you all won't have to stop along the way. It doesn't take nearly as long as it should when you're able to drive straight through to Dolton, specifically to the Pisketeers. And Toreador's unprepared for the blandness of it. the purposeful, everyday, less than finery of the place screams neighborhood bar, but it also screams neighborhood bar without any funds coming in. So it's designed or looks as if it has been left there for ages. When you all get inside, that is not the case. It still looks shabby chic, but there is a chicness to it, and you can see the purposefulness of the design. As Dia stands, points in the door, the blood across the floor, the lights being dimmed, and the 6 staff members dragging a huge body wrapped in tablecloths and plastic sheeting towards the back, away from the stairs, down, is what presents itself to you.
Eyes wide as saucers, looking around, and they rush in, and they're looking for Nicole. First thing.
No more seen her. She was speaking with these guys, look like Russian mobsters, like modern remix wish versions of Russian mafia that wear tracksuits. Look like this guy here, and then one thing led to the next. People were running, ducking and running for cover, and when the dust settled, this guy was the only one left inside, and saw what.
Just so player is aware, Nicole is unknown, an unknown quantity currently.
The upside would be if Nicole is an unknown quantity. The truth of the matter is, those of you who have known of or who have known Kindred who have passed away, after a certain age, there is no slowly aging to the use that you have. It's correct. There's dusting. All that you are, all that you will, returns immediately back to dust. So in this blood-splattered mess, with them cleaning up as they are, without beating the horse overly much, you all are immediately aware as to why they wouldn't know what became of the Pope.
Dia crumbles, like literally drops to their knees in the blood, and looks so defeated.
Seth is going to go through the detritus of whatever the hell happened and see if we can find any vestiges of dust or failed kindred anatomy.
And Zach is rushing to Dia's side, with arms open, basically lending a shoulder to cry on should Dia need it. And there is sympathy written all over his face.
Rob? Rob, did we lose you?
Robert?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
As the only member who has stared down the surly, hairy maw of a lupine who has managed to survive fleeing from it, leading it into a trap, you know what that scent is. semi-dry fur bursting through skin, muscles being popped, the scent that is a coppery, irony, spicy musk that seems to stick to the very real fact that there are claw marks in and around the blood. You know what that should be. You also know that lupines have this annoying after effect where humans start justifying their existence. There was a bear, there was a coyote, they were here 1 minute, then they were gone. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I got so scared I ducked behind the refrigerator, and when I looked back, everything was turned over like ran touchdown, and there was no one else there. Heard the tale told several different ways, but all down that when lupines are around, humans begin to their memory or their factual recollection took place.
The delirium, right?
Yeah, very much what it sounds like. The staff are experiencing. They saw or glimpsed a lupine, and everything else began to get fuzzy. Their minds began to sweat.
Robert puts a nose to the wind. Well, if there's any wind inside this building. Sniffs around a bit. Smells like eco-terrorist coal and a bit of no. This is one of those things that I won't name around Prince Decker's domain. I've heard he's very touchy about even calling them by their name.
And as you all sit or stand and begin looking for proof of the fact that something, anything, you all aren't alone. You realize that the staff members have gotten lighter and lighter, and finally, in the bar, there's just you.
Sorry you faded out there for a minute. It's just us.
It's just you all in the darkening bar space, and then the door opens, and the Dom of Dolton enters.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, dude.
Geneva is many things, but what they are not is uncaring. And as they enter, they move across the floor, taking each of you all in. Then they crouch, then drop to their knees in front of Dia. I was looking for you. But you were caught by surprise. We were dealing with the predations of the Chicago Scourge. Unfortunately, there is very little time. All that I can offer you is until tomorrow night. There are many things we need to settle. And as the senator de facto, as the Toreador Primogen of Dolton, must take part and help settle things. And on that note, I want to thank you all for a lovely session.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Mark.
Just a damn minute. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Objection.
No, that was it. I want to thank you all. It's been a lovely session. We'll continue via post when we can, and I look forward to these